Welcome, fellow psychonauts, seers, and mystics, and welcome to another edition of Magus Maximus. I'm your host, Chris Thompson. So how's it going, guys? Alright, so I did a little bit of experimenting with, changing up some rituals and stuff, and I don't know, I got this idea when I was in the shower to do the Shemhamepherosh, invoke the Shemhamepherosh angels in reverse order. But then when I was talking about it, when I was thinking about it, the thought came up. It said the thought was do the tetragrammaton backwards. So that gave me the idea to do both of these things backwards and just explain a little bit. So if you don't know, the Shemhamepherosh is the 72-fold name of God, and the 72-fold means that there's 72 names that are named associated with angels. They are names of angels, and so you invoke them in clockwise. So this is, I did it and I invoked them in a clockwise, an anti-clockwise direction, counterclockwise direction, and so and then on each of the 4 quarters, I did the Shemhamepherosh, my tetragrammaton backwards. I wrote it backwards and pronounced it backwards, and then did all of the 72-fold name backwards. And I'm gonna tell you something, this was not a good idea, but I don't know, maybe it was supposed to happen because kind of the shit kind of hit the fan, kind of, and it was shit happened that it was bad, but something good came out of it because it got me off my ass and to get shit taken care of, and and another thing happened, and it was fuck, man, I almost lost my mind on the stress that just came down. It's I wouldn't suggest doing this. This was definitely not a good idea. Maybe it was something I needed to do at the time to make shit hit the fan, so I don't know, it's one of those things, it's basically a tower card experience. So this card right here, the tarot, the tower, so I don't know if you can see it very well, there's too much light. Oh, here it goes. So see the tower hit by lightning, the people are falling out of it. Well, from what I'm understanding about, it's usually something, when this card comes up, which it didn't come up, but the situation matched the card. If something bad happens, so you can get your shit together, so you can fucking, I don't know, just get aligned. You had to kick out all the bullshit that was holding you back, so that was a crazy fucking experience. I mean, I could feel something happen after it, but then all the stuff that it brought together, it brought to it, a few things get brought, what's the term I'm trying to use? I can't think about it, but anyways, basically, it was just fucking insane. It was just bad shit was happening, and I thought I was gonna lose my mind, but good shit came out of the bad shit. So it was powerful. I wouldn't do this. I would never do it again. And this is one of those things. If you did do it again, point it at someone else, not yourself. But I mean, this was something that was. I guess I had to see what could happen. But this is now I understand this shit where they like in the Bible where it's like the wrath of God. It was like kind of like fucking wrath of God kind of shit, but like at a really tiny concentration of it. Like if it was done at a more powerful thing, that's the destructive. That's that destructive power of God. That freaking wrath of God shit. And wow, don't want to fuck with that shit. So I mean, it's like weird. Like I obviously somehow where the idea came from somewhere, and it actually did do something. So sometimes, and this is what you have to do with some of the things, is you have to freaking, it's what do they call it? You gotta figure shit out. Because sometimes you've just gotta experiment with some of these rituals or doing them differently, and sometimes they don't turn out so well. Or they do turn out well, but they don't appear to be. Like when bad things happen, so good things can happen. Like, that's what I'm feeling on this one. But it was like really, really powerful. And that's the thing with some of these is like these things, if you figure out certain things to change up the rituals, some of them can be very powerful, but they're not always, like in this case, not always good experiences, even though the outcome probably is going to be good because the shit happened in the first place. So, and that's how things are this, and things are like, and so like the Shemhamepherosh, like that's a powerful ritual anyways. Like when I first first time I ever did the Shemhamepherosh ritual, it freaking like, it kicked my ass. Like it seriously kicked my ass. I felt like fucking, like I was sick, and like I was just like I just got like hit by lightning or something. And that's like what then I found out doing it in reverse order is even more fucking chaotic and crazy. So like that's what, like, some people laugh at shit like this, and it's like because they don't understand that this kind of stuff is possible, and what it is it's not like Harry Potter shit. Like that's why it sucks that they call it magic, because, and then people either think of that or they think of freaking card tricks and shit like that. But that's, neither one of those things is correct, and it's like, I wish we'd call it something else, but then but calling it the Western esoteric tradition, that's too long of a title. They need to come up with something more like that, because it's like people expect it to be something more than what it is, and usually the majority of magic cannot be seen by the naked eye. Like the only person that will notice something happening, because a lot of the stuff I'm doing, like especially with this one, it's about self-transformation. It's like, it's something that is a very personal experience, and it's not something that you see. Like, people think magic means you're like gonna point a wand at something and it's gonna levitate and turn upside down and backwards or some crap. But it's not like that at all. I don't know, maybe some people can do some shit like that, but that's not what I concentrate upon. I concentrate upon basically self-betterment. It's some people say, oh, it's just like a psychology and blah, blah, blah. Well, kinda, there's psychology involved, and that is the whole thing, is taking yourself from, it's basically like inner alchemy, taking the base metal, which in this case is the human being, and you purify that to create that the human being becomes purified, and therefore, I don't know what the word, basically, you know what they call it? You're basically, what do they call it that the angels do? They ascend and descend. So basically it's ascending Jacob's ladder, which in the Bible story is Jacob's ladder. He climbed the ladder and it took him up through the heavens and stuff like that. And like like the book of Enoch, where it talks about how Enoch goes up he's taken up to heavens while he's alive, and he sees all the different levels of heavens and things, and he learns about the stories about how the angels who were in love with the daughters of men came down, and there were the giants and all that shit, but the angels, like, they're talking about how the bad angels taught the people about men about war and making jewelry and turning shiny things into like currency or whatever. So, and like, it was some weird stuff like that, like, but that's the whole thing, is that's what high magic is about. It's about taking yourself that's here and lifting yourself up the ladder, and in this case the tree of life diagram. So from I wish I had a diagram, but if you guys know about Kabbalah and you know about the Kabbalah tree of life, it's pretty much 10 Sephira. So you know what it is, and if you don't know what it is, oh well, you'll figure it out, look it up. So you're ascending every Sephira or Sphirot, every Sphiro, whatever, man. Sphirot is single, but I think it's Sphira or Sephira, I don't know. Some people, Sephirot, instead of, if they're like plural, they're Sephirot, and if they're singular, they're Sephira. So you have to climb each rung of it, go to each point until you get to the top, and then you keep going up. And so that's like the ascent. So basically, like I was saying, in some cases, like I wouldn't even try this unless you've been doing, like, I wouldn't try this at all, like, but I definitely wouldn't try it if I never did the Shemhamepherosh, which I've done it many times. And then I don't know if there was any purpose to do it backwards and to fuck everything up for a second to, I guess, get your house in order, as they would say in the Bible, which means basically get your shit together, or get your fucking head together, man. Or in situations like, I mean, I don't know, that could be like some kind of fucked up curse of some sort or something. Like maybe it is like being, because like Moses, he'd like freaking lift up his freaking staff and he'd like fucking say some shit in Hebrew, and then the fucking waves went up and stuff. And like, who knows if that really happened, if there was even any situation like that, because like there's absolutely like no evidence that the Hebrews were ever slaves in Egypt. It's a made up story. Some people will say it's all made up. Nah, there's some shit in the Bible that they can trace back and find like records of stuff, like the records of King David and blah blah blah. So some of the stuff happened, but some of the stuff, like, I mean, it's the Bible. It's kind of half made up and half, well, 2/3 of the way made up and like 1/3 facts, because back then they didn't really, there wasn't much of a difference. Like, they didn't really deal with the facts, they dealt with concepts. So there was this idea of everything, that stuff's all factual and blah blah blah. It was kind of, the old stories were kind of, it's because the stories at one time, it was believed that it was a oral tradition. So, if it goes down thousands of generations, it gets kind of mixed up, because everybody starts adding more. Well, we'll add this to make this more exciting and stuff. But what my point was is that this is an experience that is like keeping me on my toes, and it's like, oh, you didn't. Now you're kind of feeling like everything's just like I've been doing stuff for a while, and like stuff's not, does it even work? It seems like things aren't happening or going right or whatever. It seems like my progress is kind of slowed, and it's like something said, okay, let me do this. Yes, you see, it's real. So stop doubting it. And don't ever do this again. It's like the worst thing, like the worst experience pretty much so far in my spiritual journey. And so, yeah, like I said, it was this card, like, represents what's been going on of late. Okay, so, yeah, man, so, you guys hang in there and, like, do what you do, and don't take my word for, like it's gold or whatever. Like, look stuff up. If you don't believe me on some stuff, look it up. And even if you do, look it up, because I don't know everything. I might not have everything right. I mean, I'm talking about this. I'm a third-year practitioner. Yeah, of course, I was like a 25 years as a, what do they call it? You guys call it armchair magician, which means you just read books about stuff, and you don't actually do anything. You don't actually try to see if the stuff is real or not. And that's the thing. The thing is, because if you guys have heard me talk before, pretty much Damien Eccles is the reason I got into actually practicing magic. And if you guys know who he is, I don't want to go through the whole story, but he had a really fucked up tower card situation, where he ended up in prison because on death row for a crime he didn't commit. And so, and this guy, they have 3 books. He's got 3 books that are about magic. One of them, okay, there's the High Magic, there's the Archangels and Angels, there's the little red book, Ritual, that has little rituals in it, that some by Damien and some by his wife. And so those books, the first 2 books, kind of got me started, and watching his videos and stuff, and it just made me think, because I knew I saw that little animated thing that had his voice on it, where they did that like podcast or whatever, and just put cartoons over it. Well, I was like, who is this guy? And I was like, this guy really knows his shit. And so, like, I mean, because I like I said, I've read tons of shit about like mysticism, magic, stuff like that, but it's like different once you freaking like dive in head first, like, because I'm like, I'm gonna try some of this stuff. I'm gonna use the scientific method and see what I find. And it's something that you definitely feel that there's some kind of change going on within you. Sometimes that change is so externalized that it comes at you from the material world, and sometimes it's a fucking roller coaster. But it's been a roller coaster even before I ever got into like magic. Like my whole like spiritual fucking journey from like this is the thing. Okay, the first book that got me into kind of spiritual stuff, kind of basically mysticism stuff. It was a book called The Celestine Prophecy. And the Celestine Prophecy, it tells a story, and the story is fiction, but the things that teaches you, the teachings in it and what you learn from it are like very real. They're very real spiritual teachings. And it's like, it's like some of those things like that were like kind of a segue for people into things. So it gets you started thinking about things, and you start realizing it, and you start like saying, okay, yeah, if you squint a little bit, you can see a field of energy around trees and stuff like that. And like, it just fucking like slowly takes its journey up the fucking top of the hill, you know? So like, if that's you, if you just like read some of this new age stuff and it still helped you see things differently, or if you're a person that's practicing, you're a practitioner, maybe you're new, maybe you're not, but like, you know, it's this whole spiritual journey is this crazy like roller coaster ride, man. It's like you start going down the road of, well, is this true? What about this? What about that? What if what you think, what your religion thinks can be completely wrong, and this one, like maybe all the religions can be completely wrong, and like they can all be a way to become actually influencing people to become more spiritualist. When it becomes an organized religion and all that shit, that everyone starts to, oh, this and this, let's interpret everything literally and let's blow up the world because God, Jeebus, because Jeebus said so. That was from like The Simpsons. Obviously it's Jesus, but for some reason he said Jeebus. It was Homer Simpson. I don't even know anything about Jeebus. Okay, so well, anyways, guys, I've been blabbing again, talking for about 21 minutes, so I'm gonna get off of here. You guys have a good time, have a good life, have a good whatever, have a good day, you know, and just like do magic or don't do magic, or study mysticism or don't, or do whatever you want, because you do you and I do me, and that's how the world is. But how the world should be, it shouldn't be, here's three major religions, pick one of them, and they all believe in the same God, but they all think they're right and everyone else is wrong. Even like, but you know, could go into religion, like, but I won't, because I've been on here 22 minutes. So later, guys, take care of yourselves, and I don't know, just be magical or some shit.